5 Knight Street had everything in place to be a perfect development project. The crew was on standby, the financing was deployed, and the city had already approved all the architectural drawings. The developers used a precise legal strategy. They filed the garden suite as a completely separate application, following a documented, council-advised sequence specifically designed to navigate the city's fee structure. Because of this meticulous groundwork, the property legally did not owe any municipal development charges. The project strictly bypassed the need for a standard charge deferral or any discretionary exemptions. In a highly functional bureaucratic system, completing all this preparation perfectly means the shovels hit the dirt and construction begins with zero administrative friction. But on February 27, 2026, the city issued a zoning and applicable law notice that derailed the timeline. This chart shows the exact breakdown of the sudden financial ambush. The notice demanded over $80,000 in municipal development charges, padded with an additional levy of nearly $4,000 for the Catholic School Board. The city's automated computer system generated this fee on its own. It assessed the property based on the date the application was filed, and the software simply lacked the capability to read previously signed legal agreements. February 27th marks the start of a relentless, expensive clock. Every day the permit remains frozen, the project bleeds capital through mounting daily holding costs. The city's software did not break. It executed its programmed logic flawlessly, adhering to a rigid design that automatically penalizes any project it cannot immediately contextualize. At 9:16 a.m. the very next morning, the Developers Council replied to the city. The email was calm and legally precise, pointing out the existence of the signed development charge deferral agreement. The lawyer was completely right, but factual correctness carries no currency at the building counter. Acknowledging an administrative error does not automatically generate a permit. To override the city's automated typo, the developers had to retain KPMG Law to draft a highly specific administrative fix, a Section 118 restriction. This flowchart maps a property title deed being locked down. This represents a Section 118 restriction, placing a hard lien on a title to secure deferred charges. The developers had to register a lien on their own property just to satisfy a paperwork requirement. The system's official solution to an automated typo shifts the entire burden of proof and the cost of legal counsel directly onto the victim, paralyzing their legal title in the process. From March 1st to March 20th, the paperwork slowly bounced between inboxes. KPMG Law drafted the restriction, the city solicitor reviewed and approved it, and the Housing Secretariat confirmed the next steps. During those 3 weeks, invisible financial damage compounded. The construction crew sat idle, the deployed capital generated interest debt, and the carrying costs stacked up. On March 20th, the Section 118 restriction was finally registered on the property title, and the city solicitor officially acknowledged receipt of the document. The developers navigated a self-inflicted legal obstacle flawlessly, yet the survival of the housing project remained completely tethered to internal municipal timelines. Fast forward to March 23rd. The physical site is completely ready. All legal instruments are registered on title, and the architectural drawings are fully approved. The permit remains frozen. The entire construction schedule is suspended because an internal city process requires a physical signature on a deferral letter before the permit can be issued. The senior manager required to sign that single piece of paper is out of the office on vacation. The carrying costs of a frozen project do not stop for vacations. 5 Knight remains in a state of administrative suspension, stalled because the city's process assumes a developer's patience can last as long as it takes for a manager to return to their desk. The 5 Knight Street project survived this delay because the developers had deep capital reserves and retained top-tier legal counsel. A first-time homeowner operating without those resources faces the exact same bureaucratic wall. When ordinary citizens encounter an $84,000 automated error, they fold. They sell the lot, cancel the project, and abandon their plans silently. This chart shows overall urban housing completion statistics, but the administrative casualties are invisible here. When a family cancels a project due to bureaucratic delays, that failure is never officially tracked, filed, or counted by the city. In this regulatory environment, executing a development strategy perfectly and being legally correct merely buys the developer the privilege of waiting for someone to find a pen. Surviving the friction of bureaucracy in the missing middle housing sector requires cash first. Then it requires patience. Pride and success only come later, if they arrive at all.